Hi, it's Kathy, and I'm going to read from Magdalene Oracle Cards by Tony Carmine Salerno. And the card that I picked is called The Secret. And I was tempted, even though I prayed over it, I was tempted not to use this one. But I'm going to just read it to you. Maybe it might be, maybe one particular person, it'll have some meaning. Someone will soon confide in you, and the information they divulge may shock or disturb you. You may feel torn between the loyalties you have for two people, and this creates a dilemma for you. What is the right thing to do? Should you divulge the information or stay silent? In your heart, you will know. Ultimately, you must be true to yourself, for only in doing so can you be true to others. Revealing the truth will definitely cause upheaval, but eventually, as things settle down, your honesty and courage will be appreciated. Don't dwell on feelings of guilt. Express what is in your heart, for a hidden blessing is in store for all. As a result of the coming events, both you and others will feel a sense of relief. There are positive results for all concerned. However, these can only be actualized through your courage and love. Okay, I hope that is helpful for somebody out there. Now I'm going to read the next part about Jesus. I read the last time about Jesus was not meant to die. And now I'm reading about two kinds of prophecies concerning the cross. If Jesus' death on the cross were not predestined as necessary for the complete accomplishment of his purpose as the Messiah, why was it prophesied in Isaiah that he would suffer the ordeal of the cross? As Isaiah prophesied, and as the angel announced to Mary, it was foretold that Jesus would become the King of the Jews in his lifetime and establish an everlasting kingdom on the earth. Let us investigate why God gave two contrasting kinds of prophecies concerning Jesus. God created human beings to reach perfection only by fulfilling their own portion of responsibility. In reality, the first human ancestors did not fulfill their responsibility and fell. Thus, human beings have the potential to either accomplish their responsibility in accordance with God's will or fail their responsibility contrary to God's will. To take some examples from the Bible, it was Adam's portion of responsibility not to eat of the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. He either could obey the commandment of God and reach perfection, or eat of the fruit and die. He chose the latter. Human beings have their own portion of responsibility. The nature of the fruits they bear depends upon whether or not they fulfill their portion of responsibility. For this reason, God gave two kinds of prophecies concerning the accomplishment of his will. To send the Messiah is God's portion of responsibility. However, belief in the Messiah is the human portion of responsibility. The Jewish people could either believe in the Messiah as God wished or not believe in him in opposition to his desire. To cope with the contingency of human responsibility, God gave two kinds of prophecies concerning the accomplishment of his will through Jesus. I'm trying to think if I should read some more. The next one is Gospel passages in which Jesus spoke of his crucifixion as if it were necessary. Okay, I'll read on. There are several passages in the Gospels in which Jesus spoke of his suffering on the cross as if it were necessary for salvation. For example, when Peter heard Jesus' prediction of his imminent crucifixion and tried to dissuade him, Jesus rebuked him, saying, "Get behind me, Satan. You are a hindrance to me." Why did Jesus chastise Peter so harshly? In truth, when Jesus spoke these words, the disbelief of the chosen people had already frustrated Jesus' efforts to complete the providence of our salvation both physically and spiritually. By that time, Jesus had resolutely determined to accept the fate of the cross as a condition of indemnity to open the way for at least the spiritual salvation of mankind. Peter's dissuasion could have hindered Jesus from paving the way for spiritual salvation through the cross. For this reason, Jesus rebuked him. A second example is Jesus' last words on the cross, "It is finished." Jesus did not utter these words to mean that through the crucifixion he had completely accomplished the providence of salvation. After he realized that the people's disbelief was unalterable, he chose the path of the cross in order to lay the foundation for spiritual salvation, leaving unfulfilled the task of achieving physical salvation until the time of the second advent. Hence, by the words, "It is finished," Jesus meant that he had finished laying the foundation for spiritual salvation. By this time, it had become the alternative goal of the providence. So, spiritual salvation and physical salvation. I forgot who it was that said, "My spirit is willing, but my body is weak." So, Jesus could spiritually save a person, but the body is still prone to temptations. And so, Jesus can save you spiritually, but not physically. But through Reverend Moon, you can be forgiven of original sin, and you could be saved physically too. Okay, I'll end it here. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you next time.